Hey, Rob Pincus here, and I am at SHOT Show Industry Days, the BD event for the entire industry. This is actually before SHOT Show kicks off, and this is really exciting for us here at the Winchester range because we're talking about the W line, and we're talking about training and defending consistently, getting to use one brand of ammunition that suits the needs that everybody has. When you go out to the range, obviously I'm always thinking about training, right? I run a training company. We've got instructors all over the world that are teaching the combat focus shooting program, other defensive shooting programs. And one of the things that we see naturally is that people come to the range with training ammo. When you're shooting hundreds of rounds a day in an intense training course, or if you're just shooting your defensive gun for the first time when you're getting your concealed carry permit, you're going to use training ammunition. Well, traditionally with Winchester, we've always used white box, and then we jump people up to their defensive load. And sometimes that shock, especially for a new shooter, and especially out of today's lighter handguns, some of the single stack 9s, the incredibly lightweight revolvers like the LCR that we just did the demo with, they can be pretty snappy with full power loads. So the deal is balancing recoil management against performance when we're talking about a defensive round. So the minimums we've always talked about were that 12 to 15 inches of penetration in the ballistic gelatin being the sweet spot. Well, what the engineers at Winchester figured out was that they could take the technology of the bullets that they're using in the 380, in the 38, in 9mm, and in 40 Smith Wesson, and they could back the load down so that they actually had less recoil than we're used to out of defensive loads, so much less recoil, in fact, that they could make a training load that matches the exact performance in felt recoil in the guns when you're training. So now you go out, you get your W ammunition, you look for the T, you get your training round. Look for the D, that's your defensive round. And what we've been doing out here with our demos is we've been taking the revolvers and we've been mixing and matching. So we put the training rounds in, we put the hollow point defend rounds in, and we've been telling people, go ahead, shoot them, tell us which ones were the defensive rounds, tell us which ones were the training rounds, and they can't tell the difference. They're both in 38, 130 grain, moving at 900 feet per second. So now what you learn with and the way what you're training with feels is exactly what you're actually going to be defending yourselves and those that you care about with in your defensive gun. So it's perfectly matched, it makes everything really easy, and it's easy to spot in the store. You walk in, you look for the W, you get some D, you get a lot of T, and you go do the training. The other cool thing we've been doing is we've been looking at the 20 gauge segmented slug round. So if you've seen any of the demos that I've done with Winchester with the 12 gauge segmented slug technology, this is exactly the same. And this was the very first time that I've gotten to shoot this round. I was really excited about it because I think 20 gauge is a great option for home defense. For a lot of people, it's much easier to shoot. It's a lighter gun. Obviously, it's less recoil, but look at the energy that we're putting into this ballistic block here. And this is 12 inches of penetration from a 20 gauge slug fired at 10 feet, only going through heavy clothing. Now, when we fired the 38 round, we saw 12 inches of penetration, the minimum level that we're looking for in terms of optimum, that 12 to 15. It was down at the low end. When we shot the 9mm defend round, we had 15 inches. When we shot the 20 gauge slug, a lot of people were expecting it to just blow right through, which is what you would normally expect from a slug. But because of the segmented technology, we had 3 equal pieces split. We have a lot of damage being done inside of this gelatin block. Of course, that's the person who's trying to hurt you or your family inside your home. 20 gauge defender round is an awesome option now for defense. The entire W line is geared towards people who not just own guns and have them for defense, but people who go out and train. When you train, you want to use ammo that's going to be as much like the ammo that you're actually going to be defending yourself with as possible. And with the W line, you're getting an exact match. You can learn more about this at Winchester's website. Obviously, Winchester's got a lot of good content coming out online. Check back often. Follow us on the Twitter, hit the Facebook. And of course, all the information on the new ammo is going to be available at your local gun shop probably within about a month.